So Caitlin Clark's injury is something that is going to massively affect the WNBA.
All of it can change. If this injury does anything, it should be a wake-up call to the WNBA.
It's going to massively affect the league. And I just saw a clip on Twitter and I'm like, I never thought about it like this.
What if I told you the WNBA's financial future rests on one player's shoulders? Caitlin Clark's injury has sparked a crisis, leaving arenas empty and TV ratings crashing. But here's the shocking part. This might ruin the league's biggest contract negotiations ever. Stay tuned as we unravel how one injury exposed the league's deepest vulnerabilities. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video.
There's no way, because they admit she's the Messi for the WNBA, which basically means that basically is them saying our league is not actually growing.
This is a huge blow to the WNBA, a huge blow to the players, the owners.
Imagine this. One rookie steps onto the court, and suddenly, the WNBA feels unstoppable. Ticket sales skyrocket, TV ratings hit record highs, and arenas buzz with excitement. That's the kind of impact Caitlin Clark brought to the league. Her college career had already made waves, but as a rookie in the WNBA, Clark was more than just a player. She became the league's most valuable attraction. Every game with her name on the roster seemed like a surefire draw, but when one injury takes her out, the entire system starts to crack. Let's break it down.
Brewers analysis suggests that if Clark simply maintains her current momentum through an expanded 2025 season,
Clark is hurt. She's going to miss games for the first time in her WNBA career. She's got a quad strain. Left quad strain. Uh-oh.
Financially, this is a huge impact. Yes, on the WNBA, but Caitlin Clark is a stimulus package to whatever city she showed up to.
Caitlin Clark set records during her debut season, pulling in the highest viewership numbers for a regular season WNBA game in years. People weren't just watching, they were showing up in droves, shelling out for tickets to see her perform in person. She wasn't just elevating her team either, she was propping up the entire league. Teams scrambled to move their games to bigger arenas just to handle the demand. The Washington Mystics did exactly that, expecting a packed house when Clark was scheduled to play. Instead, her absence due to injury left the larger venue with empty seats. It was a stark reminder of how fragile this newfound success really is.
Number amount attached to Caitlin Clark. So if you see this number amount and you think that her being out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks.
However, I do think that a lot of the online watching fans and a lot of WNBA fans, and I don't mean just Caitlin Clark stands, it's like
Clark's influence isn't that different from Lionel Messi's move to Major League Soccer. When Messi joined Inter Miami, attendance and viewership exploded. But here's the difference. MLS has systems in place like high-profile international players and longer-term investments in marketing to sustain interest. The WNBA, however, leans heavily on individual stars like Clark to generate momentum, and without a fallback plan, the cracks are glaring. This dependence doesn't just stress the league, it trickles down to every single player. The stakes are enormous.
Talk some business here for a minute, if you don't mind. Let's talk about the fact that Caitlin Clark is not playing tomorrow night in Baltimore.
Her impact on the WNBA's economy could reach $875 million with modest growth and continued fan interest.
With upcoming CBA negotiations, players were hoping for massive salary increases and improved benefits. But if Clark's absence tanks revenue, owners might argue there's no money to spend on those changes. In just 2 weeks without her, some analysts predict the league could lose millions. The question is, are the WNBA's struggles really about one player, or has the league built an unsustainable foundation?
Sonia Citron and the rookies are an opponent. We were talking about these rookies. Caitlin Clark and Sonia Citron are former teammates. Heck, Caitlin Clark and Sonia Citron could be long-lost cousins for all we know.
Isn't going to be a massive financial hit. Isn't going to be a massive gut shot to the WNBA.
You know what's crazier? This isn't just about Caitlin Clark sitting out with an injury. It's about a league struggling to sustain itself. The WNBA has been fighting to become profitable for years, and while it's made strides recently, most franchises are still operating at a loss. The truth is, Clark's superstar draw gave the league hope, but that spotlight now exposes just how shaky the foundation really is. Her absence could be the tipping point that sends everything backward. Just think about the timing.
Now they're not going to see Caitlin Clark. And if the WNBA does what Major League Soccer did, it will be an embarrassment.
If this was the NBA and LeBron James or Steph Curry went down, you know what they're doing to these nationally televised games? They're flexing another team in there. WNBA doesn't have that ability.
That is kind of a relevant thing for people watching. And I actually think the Mystics are an interesting team, that it's going to have really good viewership in comparison to the rest of WNBA.
Players have been demanding higher salaries, charter flights, and better overall treatment during upcoming collective bargaining agreement talks. But now, team owners have an argument they've probably been waiting to make. They can point directly to the next 2 weeks, weeks without Clark, where ticket sales and ratings are expected to nosedive. It's the kind of cold, hard data that owners love to use. If the league can't fill arenas without one star, how can they justify paying out more money? For players banking on this CBA to change their lives, it's like seeing their leverage vanish overnight. And it's not like the WNBA can just replace Clark's impact with another player. Names like Paige Buchers, Aja Wilson, and Sabrina Ionescu have made their marks, no doubt. But none of them bring in Clark's level of attention and excitement.
Caitlin Clark fans will carry over and watch something else that's not Caitlin Clark. That's the WNBA Finals. This is a 2-week stretch, 3-week stretch.
What I'm talking about. When Lionel Messi of Inter Miami is going to play a road game and there's 75,000 people buying tickets.
Her games are events. Without her, attendance often falls through the floor, and TV ratings dip below 200,000 viewers on some nights. That gap highlights the bigger issue. This league doesn't have a balanced roster of major superstars. It's putting all its weight on one player, leaving the rest of the league scrambling to keep up. That's not a plan for growth. That's survival mode. So what happens now? Clark's injury could force the WNBA to rethink everything, from how it markets stars to how it structures salaries. Players might argue that bigger paychecks could help build more stars, spreading the attention around. But that also admits the current setup isn't working, potentially giving owners more power to cut costs. Can the WNBA survive with all its eggs in one basket? Or has Clark's injury exposed cracks too wide to fix?
Just like that, all this fanfare, all this interest, all this newfound attention on the league can disappear overnight.
I will do something to make it feel right because you expected Messi. Do you think the WNBA is going to do that for Caitlin Clark?
Caitlin Clark was a stimulus package to the WNBA and a stimulus package to whatever city she showed up to.
The WNBA's future can't rest on Caitlin Clark alone. Her injury exposed the league's biggest issue, relying too heavily on one star. Sure, Clark's impact has been incredible, but no sports league thrives by banking everything on one player. The WNBA must act now. Developing more stars, expanding marketing, and fixing its financial structure isn't optional, it's survival. Without these changes, the league risks collapsing the moment a single player is unavailable. The question isn't whether the WNBA can endure a crisis like this. It's whether they'll use it to build something stronger. What do you think it'll take for them to thrive?